to actually deliver a stream of Chainsaw Man. We actually are good to go. So yes, actually have returned to cover chapter 84 of Chainsaw Man, and as we know, boy, it do be a time in Chainsaw Man. I must admit, like, goddamn, each week kind of like it just couldn't, it just couldn't, and it does. It just do be like that though, all the time, and you just by the end of a chapter you kind of like, oh. And last chapter actually was no different. It was just like the most kind of chapter in the universe. I mean, Kishibe, boy be doing something. He be trying. The boy be trying. Even though we do kind of know that Makima is basically indestructible at this point, he do be trying though. He do be giving it his best. I mean, it's not going the way expected. Let's be real. It kind of panned out differently, but we did kind of get an upgrade with Denji in the like kind of the most unorthodox manner possible. And yeah, I mean, how this whole entire thing will play out, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Chainsaw Man's on another level when it comes to like anything at this point. We even managed to actually kind of like draw Chainsaw Man back to Shin Megami Tensei, for God's sake. That's quite the achievement if we get back to Shin Megami Tensei, to be honest. But let's put on Twitter actually gone live to actually see what does transpire in the old Chainsaw Man. God, every single week I'm like, it just couldn't, and it does. I bet you like I bet you just it do be like that this week as well. It just do be like that this week. Right, anyway. Let's begin 84, Hero of Hell, which is quite a telling title. Die after you do your job. I do like how I do like how Hell works on the same principles as Ocarina of Time does. You know, in the Shadow, no, it's a Forest Temple, not a Shadow Temple. The Forest Temple, when you go into the Forest Temple and you kind of piss off like everything, and then the hands come down and take you away. Hell works on the same principle. It's the same hands from Zelda. I just kind of realised that. Oh dear, he's been cast into hell. He's been cast into hell, has he? It's no use shooting me, you know. Kishibe's kind of like, I will try. I will attempt. I'm attempting this, boyo. I'm gonna try my best. It won't get anywhere, but I'm gonna try my best. Per my contract with the Prime Minister, tax made on me will be changed into appropriate illnesses, accidents among Japanese citizens. What the fuck? Well, aren't you lucky? Why is it that you haven't lowered your gun even knowing that? How about yourself? Why do you look so calm? Your chainsaw devil was cast into hell. I asked him to save me. Hello. I bet you it's another Bra episode. I mean, we've already got one already, knowing the contract that she has with the Prime Minister as well, which actually is kind of like moment, but I mean, I guess. Every single down week at this point. I asked him to save me. Thus, I believe he will return no matter what. You? Just what the hell are you? Me? What am I? I'm a fan of his. A fan? Hero of Hell. Chainsaw Man. I do like that because it very much mirrors chapter 1 a lot, actually. Also, the dude that's actually literally like kind of adjacent to Danger looks like Abe from Hellboy, which is very cool. You got a bit of Geiger going in the background as well. Got a bit of HR Geiger, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's terrifying, but I like it. Cry for help and he will come. The devil is targeted by chainsaw. Because of what he does, he is marked and killed by many devils, and the devils who called for his help are cut up and killed too. But he revs up his engine and rises again and again. Some react to his chaotic exploits with anger, others run and try to escape, and still others worship him. And there's another reason. The vibes indeed, bro. The vibes indeed. They be here. They be here, bro. And there's another reason he is the devil that devils fear most. The devils that Chainsaw Man eats. Their names are erased from existence. Huh. That kind of power can't be possible. You can't perceive it. It's only natural. You see, names that have been eaten are apparently erased from the past, the present, even from the individual's memories. Even with my power to take control over everything, I'm beginning to forget the names that are gone. Do you remember what the Nazis did to the Jews? Nazis, World War II, SOA, arson syndrome, AIDS, the amount of HIO eruption, nuclear weapons, all of these once existed and were feared every bit as much as devils with their names. But I'm the only one who remembers those names now, because Chainsaw Man ate them all up. What? What's happening? Kishibe's face in the corner is basically me right now. Just, oh boy. So basically, he's, what the fuck, man? What's happening in this manga? There's just nothing. There's nothing like this at all. Fuck. Because Chainsaw Man ate them all up. The sixth sense all humans used to have. The light of a particular star that would break children's minds. 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of living beings' lifespans. They've all ceased to exist, and I can't recall them. Yet even now, I remember the sight of their devils fighting Chainsaw Man as clear as day. He's just like, what's happening? It's just, this is cosmic. This is cosmic horror now, boys. You got a good point there, actually. The whole thing with Makima's like contract does actually kind of mirror Valentine from Part 7 a little bit. Actually, no, quite a lot, actually. But what? I'm just like, I'm lost for words. There's not been many times in manga where I've just been lost for words. This is like one of the first times in like existence that I've been like, I have nothing. The scale of this is so big I can't wrap my head around it. You said it, bro. You said it. So you're gonna use this power to turn the world to crap. Do you really believe the Prime Minister of Japan would make a contract with such an evil devil? I had the power to control those I believe to be lesser than myself. If I fight Chainsaw Man and win, I should be able to control him. I want to use Chainsaw Man to create a better world. Say again? Take for example death, war, hunger. There are many things in this world that humanity would be happy without. With Chainsaw Man's power, I'll bloat them all out. Quite a virtuous plan you seem to have there. Haven't considered you might lose and get eaten yourself? That would be another dream come true for me. I told you. I'm a fan of his. This is like... So we basically went from Makima being like inherently evil to being like, ah, wait a second here. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, extremely unorthodox way of doing things, let's be real. Let's be real for a second, she's got a real unorthodox way of doing things. It's like, by the way, your whole entire family's now dead, but we're gonna do some good things. It's like... Makima, I mean, There's a ways and means. They have to like break the poor dude's psyche, but okay. To be eaten by a chainsaw man and become part of him, there could be no greater honor. So this is basically Fire Punch at this point. It's mirroring Fire Punch because Denji's basically become like the godlike figure of this world. Now it seems that time for our little chat has come. Now it seems like the time for our little chat has come to an end. He has returned. Just plops on through. And there we are. She's basically just crazy. She's not evil. She's just insane. That's what I kind of like about her. Like, she's not like everyone's like, she's evil. I can't understand. I'm like, nah, she's just crazy. In the end, she was just crazy, but she's got a weird way of doing things. She's the type of person that you just can't predict because she's just crazy. But it just makes it even better. At least now we actually kind of got the entire picture of a whole entire... So, yeah, I mean, we've basically been this whole entire time wondering, what the fuck, Makima, what you doing? To actually now being like, so that's what's happening. But the thing is now, it kind of... it's the entire thing with like, by the way, he's erased a lot of things in existence, which kind of paints this entire thing that... Yeah, he's kind of like, he's become the godlike figure. Because beforehand, Denji was kind of like, there was that small pocket of people that did in free worship him in that kind of way. We also had Beam as well that kind of worshipped him, even though there might be some more to it. But there's also that kind of like that panel where it's almost like everyone was giving him their blood, giving him their blood. That's the one. Giving them his blood, giving them their blood to him. There we are. couldn't say it in the end. That whole entire thing, I'm guessing, was alluding to this idea that in the end it was that he is personified to be like the godlike figure, the one who comes down and basically fixes everything, essentially. Because technically speaking, he has like, he's done a lot thus far, which then kind of makes you wonder: is there more to the whole Chainsaw Man? Is it how we said originally, that Chainsaw Man itself is just a name? See, that's an interesting thing, because it must have just erased it might just erase the memory, but not the actual event, which itself is kind of... So essentially, it doesn't fix anything. It just erases the entire memory. So anything that we kind of know is just basically nullified. So theoretically speaking, she could, in theory, if she really wanted to, if time travel became into this whole entire thing, which at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. If time travel actually came into this whole entire thing, she could actually just rewrite history. She could just be like, yeah, by the way, nothing happened. Like, everything you knew, gone. So, but it's interesting, because it does, in theory, kind of, again, like how with Fire Punch, how Agni was personified to be the god, but in theory, technically speaking, he wasn't. He was basically just a normal human being, kind of pulled into this whole entire thing. But then his actions kind of counteracted the godlike persona. The thing here is like he's personified to be pseudo godlike, but then at the same time, it's kind of like, but he doesn't fix anything, practically speaking, unless there's more to that. Unless there's more to it. But then again, the thing I'm kind of wondering is, like, when she says about the whole entire thing with World War II and everything like that, I kind of now imagine that Chainsaw Man is just a name. Like, in essence, how we imagined it originally. Like, Chainsaw Man is just a name. It's not... Denji's not the Chainsaw Man. Well, Denji is the Chainsaw Man currently, but there might have been more, essentially, before him. Yeah. Essentially, she's basically just erasing problems. She's erasing the existence of the problems, but not erasing the effect of the problem. She's essentially just kind of she is, theoretically speaking, kind of creating her new world by making everyone forget what happened, rather than fix the entire thing, which is kind of like what, theoretically speaking, people in this kind of scenario would probably do. What her entire thing is flawed because it doesn't necessarily kind of fix anything. It just kind of erases the memory of it. So it's just kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, it's gone. I mean, let's quickly go back over it just in case we might just miss something. Yes, her names are erased from existence. So you see, names that have been eaten are apparently erased from the past or present, even from individuals' memories. Yeah, so so technically speaking, it's one of those things that kind of just, it doesn't fix, rather than it just kind of like it erases. So it's not. She's basically creating a new world via the means of just erasing problems out of people's memories, rather than actually kind of like saying, okay, well, yeah, she's deluding people. She's basically creating organism, essentially, 2.0. She's creating organism 2.0. Everyone's just deluded to believe in something that didn't happen, that everyone believes this person to be the right and just, which, technically speaking, in context it could possibly, but at the grand scheme of things, probably not. To actually then kind of just say, well, no, the thing still happened. It's just like no one remembers it. So it's kind of like there's nothing here that kind of tells you what she's doing is like she's basically insane. She's just kind of like, yeah, by the way, we're gonna create a new world. It's actually kind of okay, but she doesn't realize, by the way, yeah, it doesn't fix anything. She's basically just creating a world that is exactly the same, just everything's been erased. So it's basically she's becoming a martyr in a way, but not in any way, shape, or form. Because she's not doing anything. That's the problem. Makima's not technically doing anything. That's the thing with Makima's character. Like, she's going about this whole entire thing saying, oh yeah, look, the new world, and actually look how happy everyone is, and then she'll die. She'll die, I guess, in a pseudo martyr, but then nothing gets fixed. It's just like it's just the most. It's like I like it because it's the most hollow thing in the universe. Like, she's like, yeah, this is like, we can just. She just wants control over him and just like wants to die via his hands, but then doing nothing in the process. She's like that episode of Simpsons when isn't it no, it's the tuxedo mask meme. It's like, my job here is done, but you didn't do anything. It's just like, and then he walks off. The same thing with Makima. She doesn't do anything. She just walks off at the end. It's just that's a whole entire plan. But yeah, I guess the more interesting thing now is like, Chainsaw Man's like very, very OP man. He's very OP man at this point. But secondly, it's like she's just a crazy fangirl at this point. But the problem is now it's kind of like, so what essentially is, or who essentially is Denji? Denji's not. Yeah, essentially. But who is Denji in this context? Is Denji just a vessel? Is he just like, I don't know, like the chosen one in a way, like how in RPGs sometimes you get the character who's the chosen one that actually has to kind of yeah, Denji's gone, but he's like the chosen one as well that has to kind of like carry out this mission, and then theoretically speaking, it's like, but he's ordinary in the process, but he's like an Illuminary in a way, I guess. Illuminary is the most recent Dragon Quest idea. But he's not necessarily like the chosen. He's not the overall person. He's the hero of time as well, technically speaking. That's the thing. He's like the hero of time. Like, there's multiple heroes of time. Like, there's multiple versions of Link as well. The same thing applies. It's just Denji is just one of them. the Chainsaw Man is just a name, it's an existence rather than. So theoretically speaking, it's like the whole entire thing with Fire Punch, like how Fire Punch was just a name in the world itself. It wasn't. It was attributed to one of the characters. It's attributed to the main character, but it's like it's just a name existing in the world. The same thing. The same thing's applying here. Like there had to be multiple versions of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man had to exist before Denji. So then it makes you wonder what happened beforehand, which probably means to why Pochita was injured. That's probably the reason to why. There's multiple versions of Chainsaw Man. The previous one died, and then Denji took over. So technically speaking, Denji was just a means to an end. He was just existing to kind of carry on the existence of the Chainsaw Man name, like 007 in a way as well, because 007 exists just as a name if you go by the theory. He's just 007 is just a name given to a person. It's not one entity. It's like multiple. The same thing with Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is an entity. He's not one singular character, because if we go by the whole entire thing of World War II, if we go by also the date in which this takes place, it's just discrepancies here and there that can make you go, okay, so what transpired before the events of this manga? Which clearly is why Pochita was injured, why possibly Pochita doesn't want the door opened. Second and thirdly, that actually might be more to this world than just, by the way, Denji is Chainsaw Man. Which is like, this is basically open up a can of worms that it's just like, Makima, what does this even mean? What are you trying to say here? It's very interesting. Like, what she's basically said is like, she doesn't have this overall grand scheme that's kind of like really inherently evil. It's just inherently flawed. Which is a running theme within Fujimoto's actual kind of like characters, like how basically their motivations are extremely flawed, or extremely selfish as well. The selfish or very flawed, or both. So it's kind of like she's creating a new world out of the idea of just making people forget rather than fixing anything. Which, yeah, I mean that works, but it doesn't fix the entire problem. So. It makes you also then wonder what else has been erased from history as well. Like what other things could have been, what other things could have actually been completely taken out of this whole entire universe and what we know? Because clearly, Fire Punch exists. That's kind of like a massive thing that could in theory now be a part of the entire world. Who knows? But what else could have been erased completely? But the other thing to note is also her contract with the Prime Minister as well. That in of itself is That in of itself is very, very interesting, because she does, as we said beforehand, have a very kind of similar thing to how Valentine works in Part 7. But that in of itself is kind of like that in of its. It's so true. That is Kushima's face. That in of itself is kind of interesting. So if she kind of just gets hurt, it kind of nullifies her, but goes to someone else. So. Yeah, I mean, she's the most indirect character in the universe. She doesn't essentially kind of... She basically just kind of vibes somewhere, and that's about it. That's all she does. Theoretically speaking, yeah. But then, the only thing he could have done in the context of Fire Punch's world is erase the existence of the Ice Witch, which... Technically speaking, there's more to the Ice Witch than just that. I won't spoil that because someone's actually read Fire Punch. Do read, it's actually the best manga I've actually ever made, but I digress. He would have just erased the existence of the actual Ice Witch. The same thing if, say, he killed Agni. He doesn't necessarily kind of fix anything. Agniism itself, practically speaking, wouldn't have existed, but he's just killing the idea behind it. He's killing the existence behind it rather than actually fixing what actually didn't fully transpire. So he's no hero, which I guess is actually why he's called the hero of hell, because theoretically speaking it's a contradiction. Because technically speaking there would be no hero of hell, because hell itself is meant to be evil. So him being called the hero of hell, it makes sense because it's a contradiction, which is then applied to what he does. It's more or less like he just exists to kind of like he exists as a contradiction to everything that's actually going on. It's kind of, I guess, an oxymoron as well. it just doesn't work the way you expect it to work, which I actually do really like. I really like this twist. It's really well done. It's actually kind of like, it's actually really cool. Like how she just wants to create a better world, but the better world she creates is just like, everyone's just kind of blind to what really happened. Essentially, everyone just wants to erase history. She wants to erase history, and that's about it. She doesn't want anything else. And that's just kind of like, okay. I mean, that's just not how it works, but I get you. I get you. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. There's a lot in this chapter on Chainsaw Man now. It's not an easy chapter to kind of like digest on the first read because there's a lot in here. Because it just, one, it kind of unravels the entire mystery behind the possibility of who, because that's why she hugs him then. That's why she hugs him, like, as if she's like, oh my god, I found you, kind of idea. It's because she was a fan of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man lives on. She's kind of like, she's like if, say, someone met Batman or something like that. Some fan of Batman met Batman in real life. The same thing applies. She's just a fangirl of Chainsaw Man. So that whole entire thing now makes more sense. A whole entire existence with Denji makes sense. Why she kind of did everything to do with Denji now makes plausible sense. But the problem is now, it's kind of like, it unravels a lot more of a mystery that, in itself, we have in theory been theorizing this entire time, because we have in theory been saying, like, the possibility that Chainsaw Man is just a name. It's not a character, it's a name given to someone that inhabits the Chainsaw Man, rather than say that Denji is the overall Chainsaw Man. So yeah, I mean, I really do like where this is actually going now. This is getting really goddamn interesting. I mean, I wasn't expecting this whole entire chapter, but yeah, I really do. I do like how this is actually playing out. Fujimoto's creating a manga that's like, there's nothing like this, like in any publication. Like even in Shonen Jump, this is like the most like, bruh, where did this come from? But even if you kind of look at just manga in general, I haven't seen like something this kind of like deconstructive in quite a long time, because it literally is like, there's just nothing like this at all, and everything you kind of just do, it just kind of creates one more massive hole of questions that might not get answered, but at one point it just might randomly do, like how we just got it this week. So yeah, I mean, shit, boy, Chainsaw Man. God, I love this manga so much. It's so good. It's so amazing. I love this manga so much. I have to wait and see what happens now. Like, how this whole entire thing plays out. We've got an end goal now, at least. That's the major thing. We actually have an end goal, because beforehand there was no end goal. It was just like, it was the most up in air kind of idea in the universe. And now we have Makima's actual motivation. We have an end goal to where it's going to go. Now we actually have to figure out whether or not she will actually kind of conquer said goal, or whether or not something actually might very happen in between. But it's true when she said that he will come back. Like, there's no way in hell he won't, pun to pun. Like, there's no way in hell he won't. Like, in essence, he will always save her, which actually is very interesting in and of itself. So yeah, that's me done for today. I'm gonna lie down for a long while now. I don't want Kishibe to actually die though, because he actually has zero reason to die at this point. But at this stage in the manga, anyone could die. I mean, we've seen it already. Power died instantly. Aki died in the most like worst possible way in the universe. So I mean, anyone could die at this point. I just want to know what everyone else is going to do at this point, because theoretically speaking, like, literally, there's so many characters MIA that's whole entire manga right now. So it makes me wonder when they're going to come back and actually do something, or probably not do anything at all, and actually just become like a part of like this weird cult of like realizing that you don't actually have to actually worry. Everything's okay, bro. Just don't think about it. It doesn't exist, bro. I really do hope they actually make some figurines of Chainsaw Man though, because it does look really nice. There we go. That's what I want to do. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Chainsaw Man, bro. Oh man, this every single week at this point. So yeah, actually have enjoyed the whole entire stream doing free. Leave a like on YouTube. Yeah, leave a like on YouTube, because indeed it's very quiet. But if you haven't enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a sub, because indeed it's very quiet. But if you haven't enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, follow me on Twitter or join Discord as well, because both do help me quite a lot, and both of them tell you when streams go live and any other streams I do as well. But until next time with some more Chainsaw Man. See you guys later. Bye for now.